Hey everyone, it's Ro with Ro's Wigglers. I am excited to do another experiment with you. You all know that I love to do these side-by-side experiments. And today I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. I was at something called Tower Grove Pride, and I met a lovely plant seller called Plant Lady Botanicals. You can see their business card here. I'll try to find them and tag them as well when I post this. But from this place, I got these two little baby inch plants. And they're pretty much exactly the same shape, size, healthiness. I tried to get them as close to the same as I could. And so I wanted to do a side-by-side experiment so we can follow along and see how these grow. One of these plants is going to get just plain potting mix that I mixed up myself with some microgreen soil and some compost, nothing too fancy. And the other one, and that one will get watered with tap water. And the other one is going to get the potting mix with my worm castings mixed in, and it will be getting watered regularly with my worm casting tea. And we'll follow along and we'll see how differently these two plants grow. I'm pretty certain I can predict exactly how this is going to go, but I want you to see it because there's a reason I've been obsessed with the power of worm castings and worm casting tea, and that is because I can visibly see the results of my plants. When I'm vending at markets and I'm selling my worm casting tea, I tell people, take a picture of your plant the day you give it the tea, and then take a picture of it 2 or 3 days later, and you can literally see that plant just come to life and look so much happier. So I think we're going to witness some good stuff here. So let's get started. So this first one is going to be just plain potting mix. These are the exact same size and shape pots. Nothing is different except for what we're giving the plants. So here's this one, nice and full. And then I'm going to make a little hole to put the plant in. Okay, get this little baby out of here. I've never seen a green inch plant before, so I was excited. I have purple ones already. I'm a sucker for pretty much any purple plant, but I'm excited to try these. And it looks like these currently still have some pretty delicate little root systems. It's not, root bound in the pot like you often see. So if I were, I could predict over time that if I were to take these back out of the pot, maybe when we do a repotting into bigger pots, you'll see one of these has a much stronger, bigger, healthier root system than the other. Guess which one that would probably be. So I'm just tucking this baby into its new home, and then it's going to get watered in, because anytime you pot a new thing, you always want to water it immediately. It's just getting plain tap water. So I'm just watering that in. There you go. And now for the second plant, we're going to start with the potting mix. Just fill this up. Some little baby plants in here because I get this microgreen soil from a local microgreens grower. Shout out to Ann's Roots. When they harvest their microgreens, they just have all this leftover, what's basically pro mix, so seed starting mix with all those good roots and leftover green bits in them, and they have no use for that. So I take all of that, I use it in my community garden. It's called Feed the People Garden Project, and sometimes I also use it as part of my worm bedding, but today we're using it to make a potting mix. So I have this. I'm going to get a little bit less in there because we're going to mix in some worm castings. So then I'm going to mix in my worm castings. This is my little $10 quart size package. I already used some in the last video, but usually it's full in a quart size. But this is what I sell at the farmers markets and little pop-up events and on my website. So I'm going to take this, and I tell people the great thing about worm castings is you don't have to worry about doing too much. You don't have to measure too much. I say roughly a small handful per plant is great. If you want to be really precise, you can do it at a 20% ratio, 20% worm castings, 80% of your potting mix, and that is optimal. Once you get past 20%, it doesn't really do much more in terms of benefits. So we're going to do roughly a small handful. I'm going to mix that in. Okay, and then I'm going to make my little hole to put the new plant in. Get this one out of here. Its root system looks almost exactly the same as the last one. Nothing too fancy. Whoop, lost some of its soil. Throw that in there too. Just pop this little baby right in. Tuck it in place. And then the other difference with this one is it will be getting watered currently and regularly with my worm casting tea. So this is one of the sizes of the worm casting tea concentrate that I sell on my website and at the farmers markets. This is a concentrate so that you can, if you need to, if you have a lot of plants or a big garden, you can make your dollar really stretch with this by diluting it at up to a 1-to-10 ratio. But you can also pour it directly on your plants at full strength with no risk of burning or harming them. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to give it to it full strength, and I'm just going to water this plant in. And that's it. And so over the next however long, I'm going to label these. This one will be labeled as just plain potting mix. This one will be labeled as having worm castings and worm casting tea. And we'll follow the journey and we'll see how they grow. I'm pretty sure that we will see this one grow way faster and bigger and healthier than this one. This one will still be happy, but this one is going to probably blow it out the water. So I'm going to label both of these so we know what's going on, and then I'll keep you posted on social media. So follow along, and remember, until next time, healthy soil, healthy plants, happy worms.